I really liked the format I did with the Mario Vin, so I wanted to try this shit again.
Run that back, because that joke is horrible, nigga. Open your mouth.
But I was having trouble trying to figure out what game to really discuss or just find anything in. And then Elden Ring got announced.
Brandish the Elden Ring.
What?
That was so just cute on every level.
So we're doing Dark Souls. Now Mario was a lot of capturing the vast atmospheres or worlds that are offered in the game. And even though Dark Souls 3 has that, fuck the swamps though.
I'm aware that a lot of you niggas don't like it, but I don't give a fuck.
Its personality is found much more in the various bosses that you can encounter, and I feel that certain themes capture the story or lore behind the bosses really well, and what they're supposed to represent. Not only do they do that, but these soundtracks also help push this theme in Dark Souls 3, this global sense of loss that inhabits its world.
So it is that ash seeketh embers.
So let's sit back, relax, stick an IV drip through your fucking neck, cause we're discussing music again, baby, let's go. Quick disclaimer, none of the Dark Souls footage you're gonna see is mine, and I'm not saying that because I want to avoid plagiarism or anything, no. It's because the person who I took the footage from is so dog shit at this game that I don't want to associate myself with their work. Anyways, let's talk about the first level of loss, the loss of mind. Vort kinda thicky. Even though Vort's theme is pretty awesome, not gonna lie, and it's kick-ass, and it's used in a bunch of shitty memes, Exhibit A, Exhibit B, but if we take just a little bit more in-depth of a look at his theme, and a little bit of his lore, we can see how they connect to each other pretty well. Vort and his companion, the Dancer, were both proud of Outrider Knights, who were then in turn twisted by Pontiff once he took refuge outside of the painting. Now, the Dancer's a different story, which I'm not going to talk about, because I don't want to. But Vort, on the other hand, went from this proud knight who served under his king loyally to some kind of twisted amalgamation of monster and man. Notice how he walks on all fours in comparison to how the Outrider spirits walk over in Irithyll. His theme doesn't reflect that knightlyhood that he once knew. Instead, it's fast, it's bombastic, it's violent, just as he fights you, like some kind of rabid dog who throws all his pride away just for senseless violence. The tempo of his theme matches his erratic attacks and behavior. He's just another victim to the loss of this world. The loss of his pride, but more importantly, the loss of his sanity. Now let's move on to Osiris. Man, I fucking hate Osiris, bro. He's such a gross boss to fight. Having to punch him in like a nutsack for 15 minutes. But I still gotta talk about him. To quickly catch you up on Osiris' lore if you don't know it, he was a king of Lothric with a family and all that, but he was into dragons, like weird into dragons. So he made it his life's work to try to achieve true dragonhood, and even at his wife's birth, a child of dragons, you know, in the intro he talks about it. But I ain't Vadi Vidya, that's all you're getting from me. Let's talk about music. In the beginning of your fight with Osiris, his soundtrack is very minimalistic. All that's really present in his theme are a violin, a choir, and every once in a while like a bell or something. The reason that's important is because when you're first fighting him, he's still got a semblance of himself trapped in that body. And he's trying to protect his son. Even though he's got a weird dragon fetish about it, he's still a dad fighting for his son, alright?
Well, I will not give him up. For he is all that I...
So he tries to strike you down as a man. There are 2 moments of silence in his soundtrack.
You ignorant slaves.
Slamming his own child down in a rage, and fighting you no longer as a proud king or father, protecting his family and kingdom, but as a monster who cares not for his child, bloodline, or people, simply needing to see you die. The soundtrack represents his fall into his own sanity, the beginning where it's more calm, constructed, sophisticated, before pausing and adding in a few more instruments, and then completely going off the balls bonkers, baby, because we got ourselves a fucking lunatic. That's enough about those 2 crazy boys. Now we're going to move on to another form of loss. Instead of the loss of sanity, these bosses represent a loss of honor. So let's start this off with the clickbait king himself, the... When you first enter the boss fight for the Nameless King, the theme doesn't even activate, nor does his aggression activate until he fully lands with his wyvern, to give you a full second to realize,
oh no, I'm scared, and now I have to fight this freaky fuck, oh bother.
And the theme starts off really fast with a violin, kind of akin to horror movies when they got the like fast violin. What the fuck is that? Excuse-moi. But akin to horror movies, because the purpose of the theme is to scare you. And scare it does, because you're fighting a fucking dragon with a big pimpin' boy on his back. It's not gonna be a beautiful dance to 2 skilled swordsmen. No, you're running for your life, like a little piss baby that you are, screaming because you keep getting hit by his AoE fire attack that's pretty well telegraphed. You're not good at this game. Stop playing. So while he's riding his wyvern, there's nothing but anger. You're an invader to his territory. So the instruments are crashing, the violin is playing that song of fear. He wants you gone. And this continues until that split second of realization as his wyvern dies. Does he remember what it is to have true companionship, to be a true knight, because he came from a family of nobility. So just like with Ornstein and Smough, he absorbs his fallen comrade as a final stand, and the music shifts from that violent, fast-paced, bombastic bullshit to a slower song, as you realize that the wyvern was the least of your worries, because he's going to now use all of his strength and combined power to put you down like a dirty dog. Now, how does this relate to the loss of honor? Well, it's because he ran away from his family. He ran away from that life of nobility and pride to work with the enemy. And even though he's disgraced and remembered as a traitor, he found new honor amongst the dragons, amongst these creatures that are now his family. But unlike the Nameless King, Yorm doesn't get to have that restoration of honor.
Yorm the Giant.
Loud chanting and the crashing of drums, a reminder that Yorm was once a giant who wielded both a machete and a shield. Tossing his shield away, as he lost the only person he cared for and truly became the embodiment of that monster that all his subjects saw in him. The chanting reminds me of the same chanting from Hellfire from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. It's the same kind of chanting condemning him, a reminder that even in death, Yorm couldn't protect anyone. You're not fighting a Lord of Cinder, you're fighting a husk of a man. And there's only ever one moment of calm in the soundtrack, and during the fight. Right before he engulfs himself in the same fire that immolated him. There's a pause in the soundtrack that can just be seen as a transition between the more calmer parts of the soundtrack and then the second phase. But the way I see it is that he's taking in all his subjects burned and fused together because of his sacrifice all around him. A failed king, exactly as they saw him before he sacrificed himself to the fire. He's got nothing left. He lost the respect of his people. He lost his people, and he lost his honor as a king.
I, Siegfried of the Knights of Catarina, have come to uphold my promise. Let the sun shine upon this Lord of Cinder. For a final toast. To your valor, and my old friend Yorm. Long may the sun shine!